Will asks, oh, Will, don't do this to me. Will asks, how much of Saban's greatness should be attributed to Kirby? Because we only hear vice versa. Not my fault. Will, there is no easy way to say this, so I'm just going to tell you. Kirby Smart did contribute a lot to Nick Saban's operation over in Tuscaloosa. That's just like a son working long hours and putting in great work at the family business. But you got to remember who brought the son into the world. And you're looking at who brought Kirby Smart into this world, into this football world, and that's Nick Saban. Now, I'm partly saying that just because I know it riles up some of my better friends back home in Georgia. My real thoughts on this are Kirby Smart's one of the greatest head coaches we have in college football today, and therefore he's one of the greatest Sabans ever have. I thought it was really interesting when they won that title, when Georgia won that title against Alabama a couple of years ago. Nick Saban's one of the most fiery competitors you'll see. He knew it was eventually coming from somewhere. Like one of his former assistants was going to beat him for a title at some point, and it was Kirby. And so when it happened, he smiled. As they embraced at midfield, he smiled. And I don't know what I expected. I didn't expect that. But I think that there is a lot of admiration, although very competitive. There's a lot of admiration for Nick Saban when he looks at Kirby Smart, because here's what he sees. What I think he sees is a bunch of folks who have worked under him who weren't able to duplicate what he does. They were able to say things like process. They were able to repeat the phrases. They were able to put the posters up on the wall, but they weren't able to implement it. Saying it versus implementing it, two totally different things. If you've ever tried to lead people, you know the difference between the two. He sees a guy for the first time who's been able to work under him and who has that DNA in him. Saban didn't put it in him. Kirby Smart's got it. That's what attracted Nick Saban probably to him. That's what allowed Nick Saban to delegate so much long-term responsibility. It is no small thing for Nick Saban to say, you are going to run my defense, and do it for a long time. And so obviously he saw something in Kirby Smart a long time ago, but even then, you don't fully know what kind of head coach he's going to be. But Kirby Smart goes on to become a great head coach, and Saban looks over there and appreciates it because Saban, more so than anyone else, knows how hard it is to do what Kirby Smart's doing. That's when someone comes in the back door, by the way, and they say, nuh-uh, I could win if I had everything he has. No, you couldn't. You'd be a loser. In all likelihood, you'd be a loser. I don't know you personally. I'm just saying if you're dumb enough to say that, you'd probably be a loser. Because I know that because a bunch of people have had really good opportunities with a ton of resources and flamed out spectacularly. Some of them are in the process of doing it as we speak. It's not easy. Even with everything at your fingertips, it's not easy. And let me remind you, by the way, some of what Kirby Smart has at his fingertips right now didn't exist when he got to Georgia. So back to the question. It was mutually beneficial, a very mutually beneficial relationship. You could look at Nick Saban's national titles and say, hey, he won several of them with Kirby Smart running his defense. And that defense was never better than when Kirby Smart was there. And you're right. Is there an excuse to be made? No. Kirby Smart's just a really good defensive mind. He was also a really good recruiter that got a number of those players. You don't have to knock one to praise the other, is my point. And so then Kirby Smart leaves. Saban is already in the process of reinventing his team. Saban wins a couple of more national championships, including one against Georgia after Kirby's left. So it's obvious that Kirby Smart was not the determining factor, but it's also very obvious that he was one of the critical factors in contributing to a lot of what Alabama was. If he wasn't, he would have gone to Georgia and failed. If he was a product solely of working under Nick Saban, he would have been exposed the moment he got a program of his own to run. I know that because several others have been exposed when they looked really good under Saban and as a result did get a program of their own to run. So the answer is Nick Saban has been really great. Kirby Smart greatly benefited from being able to learn under and observe the best to ever do it. Nick Saban benefited because being who he is, he attracts the best and then benefits from having the best work for him. That's the way it works. That's no different than a big Wall Street CEO. Everyone wants to go work for him. And then the Wall Street CEO probably doesn't have to put in the sweat equity anymore that a lot of the rank and file do. And the rank and file Sometimes we're ignorant enough to look around and say, we're the ones who make him look good. We're the ones who make her look good. Really? There's a reason you fought and you crawled over broken glass to get the job you have, because you know what that logo looks like on your resume. And in coaching, when you walk in with that script A on your chest, it means a little something different than when you walk in with another logo on your chest. So yes, it's mutually beneficial. I will not be dragged into this world of one or the other. I will not be dragged into the LeBron MJ debate of college football. I will not be dragged into the Kirby or Saban. Just give me both. That's against the rules. There are no rules. Give me both of them.